Hey guys, Batchford here. Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Super stoked to start creating videos, been long overdue at this point. To give a quick introduction, I'm a European player who competed throughout Halo 5's entire lifecycle, having competed in both pro leagues and a large majority of LAN events. Halo was the game that first introduced me to competitive video games, so it holds a special place in my heart when it comes to FPS. In this two-part series, I'll be doing a basic rundown of some of the most common mistakes I see in matchmaking on an individual and team level. A lot of these mistakes are usually just bad habits that the player themselves might not even know about. Going to be keeping these first couple of videos simple, and I'll be looking to go into things more in depth further down the line. If anyone has any suggestions, requests for videos, leave them down in the comment section below. Now, let's move into the three topics I will be covering today, which are ability usage, preaiming and angles, and objective play. I feel if these three areas were worked on by your average player, then it would have no problem achieving Onyx rank or higher purely due to individual skill alone. Let's start with my personal pet peeve, ability usage. Going to keep this one simple, stop sprinting around all the time. I say that your average player in the Platinum Diamond level may know how to shoot, but put themselves in awful scenarios due to them running out into several angles leading to a quick death. Start getting into the habit of walking a lot more and only using sprint when the area is clear, or if you have a shot number advantage. You'll begin to see that you will land a lot more first shot advantages and gain a lot more damage and kills, which is a huge benefit to your team. Similar to sprint, thrust is often used in situations where it is not needed. Thrust is your most valuable resource in Halo 5. If you do not have a thrust in a gun battle against a competent opponent, you will very likely be dead. Keep your thrust for a second chance at life, or for your strafe during battle. There are jumps that also utilize the thrusting mechanic, but these are high risk at higher levels of play due to the noise and use of the thrust and the potential of mistiming the execution. Save these for when you have a hard read on your opponent's decision making. Sprint is best used in combination with a thrust slide, a mechanic that is incredibly useful in applying pressure. Thrust slide can only be used in maintain sprint and toggle crouch are often your settings however, so make sure that those are disabled. Now that ability usage is out of the way, let's move on to preaiming and angles. The difference between a good player and a great player's aim is mostly in reticle placement. Your typical Platinum player might not be focusing or even realizing that his reticle placement is hindering their performance to achieve a kill. They can also be positioning themselves in a way as to that several players in an enemy team can shoot them at once, which can be a quick and rather frustrating death. A good habit to develop is to place your reticle where you think the enemy will be at all times, whilst being wary of your positioning. Use the map covered to your advantage as to that only one player at a time can shoot you. This is called isolating an angle. A good example is the head glitch on the Eli on the map Truth. You can use this piece of cover to isolate a player coming onto the P street for example. And if you know that is clear, you can begin to isolate P1 and top middle, etc. There are some plays, however, where it is better to burst into a certain position, exposing yourself to several angles for the pure value of surprising your opponent. But these are mostly situational and comes down to your game sense, which comes from playing the game. If you're still struggling with hitting shots, then opening your in-game settings and playing around is probably your best bet. I recommend starting off with a slower sense like 3 and working upwards if needed. Highly recommend sticking with the sensitivity purely for developing the muscle memory required to hit your shots. Tweaking your acceleration is a lot more forgiving however. My good friend and fellow content creator Proximitty made a really in-depth video based purely around positioning and angles and what to do and what not to do. I really recommend checking it out if you're still struggling. Link to it is below in the description. Last but certainly not least is how to play the objective. It may seem as simple as just running the flag, but there is a surprising amount of small things that your typical average player may miss out on. Biggest thing I see that nobody does is being able to move around quickly with the flag or ball. This is called juggling. To effectively juggle the flag, throw it using Y, sprint, slide, and jump right before touching it, then hold down your pickup button as you go over the flag. You can also put in a thrust after the jump for some extra momentum, which is very helpful for moving around the map quickly. You can also juggle the flag whilst walking, which is useful if you want to recharge your shields whilst moving the flag. Another huge mistake I see that is stronghold specific is players solo hopping hills, especially in a trip cap against them. Get your kills in the map, then get in the hill. If you feel like your teammate may need help inside the hill, then help them. Chances are they are probably going to be contested for the capture. Well, that's really all I have to say. I understand that some of you may want to see a specific topic covered more in depth, so I'm all ears. Post down in the comment section below, or tweet me at Batchford_ about what sort of subjects I should cover more in depth. Leaving a like and subscribing would also be greatly appreciated if you learned anything new today. Keep a lookout for my second and final part of this basics series, where I cover the do's and don'ts of how to be a good teammate. Cheers guys!